So do you plan on doing any more Stargate movies or anything like that?
I don't know if you guys have seen, but Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, who did the Stargate movie, are talking about doing. Great, let me tell you something. Well, big boy.
Ask and you shall receive.
Stargate, the movie, was originally written as a trilogy. And Stargate, the movie, was a pretty good success when they did it for 20, 30 million, and it made over 100 million, So MGM wanted the sequel. And even though Emmerich and Devlin had already written it, they wanted to go to like Hawaii to write the sequel. And MGM bought, and whatever the fallout was, I wasn't in the room, I don't know. But there was a fallout. MGM decides, and John Symes, who basically created syndicated television, genius, brilliant man, had done MacGyver, and had just come to MGM and started talking about another vehicle for Richard Dean Anderson, the Stargate. And he went, hey, what about this as a series? Da, da, da. So that's how that happened. So MGM told Emmerich and Devlin, forget you and your sequel. Emmerich and Devlin said, okay. They went to Universal and sold the sequel to, and guess what that sequel was? Independence Day. So who had the last laugh? People don't know this, that Independence Day was actually the sequel to Stargate. And if you look at it, it's the aliens taking revenge for the death of Roth.
I gotta rewatch Independence Day. Everybody else has just like knocked me over. I'm like, wait, what? How? I have to go see again. All right, we'll be watching that tonight.
And there's Alexis Cruz. Go to Alexis Cruz's panel, and Alexis was there.
I think she has one, but I'm not doing that.
Well, Alexis is a he.
See, I didn't research anybody. So.
Never watched the show, did you? You never watched the show, did you? It's out now, yes.
Okay. Totally honest. I've seen maybe one episode on TV in passing, but I love the movie. You know what? I've also never watched Doctor Who. I've also never watched the Star Wars animated, but I have watched every single episode of Star Trek, X-Men, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and I can go on for forever. Don't you test my geek cred. There's only so many hours in the day. I want to watch Cowboy Bebop, but I just don't have time for anime.
But just so they were clear, never watched Stargate, did you?
I love when I do these things. I was a VJ for MTV back in the day, and I would meet bands, and you have a good experience with them. You go, I really want to check out the thing. And at the time I interviewed 311, I had no idea about their music, but they were awesome. And one dude had a Punisher tattoo, he's a geek like me, and I'm the biggest 311 fan under the sun now. So the odds of me watching Stargate now, I want to see him sleeping during the time.
Did I answer your question? What was your question?
If you were gonna make any more movies.
Oh, so I didn't really answer your question. Well, so to get back to it, so Emmerich and Devlin, I guess, are planning on doing more Stargate movies, but they really don't involve us. Through the MMO that we did, they were talking about introducing new episodes through the game. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but it's. I just don't think the new people at MGM, I really don't think that Stargate's really on their radar. I mean, I don't know, but it's being talked about, but nothing is for sure. So, and let me tell you, for me to be Teal again, they'd have to back up the truck.
Who came up with the name Junior?
That was Rick. Rick didn't want to say symbiote. So he just started calling Junior. And it just a lot of what we did on the show was predicated by what Rick would and would not do. The scripts for Rick were really just a suggestion.
You worked with him back in MacGyver, right?
I did work with him on MacGyver, and he swears to this day that he remembers. But okay, I gotta say this. This is how our relationship started. So I did a MacGyver back in, I don't know, late 80s, I guess. And so MacGyver, I mean, it was the most popular show on TV. I was just scared out of my mind. And my first scene is I play this college football player. Yes, I know what a stretch. And MacGyver teaches me about.
I'm sorry. Where's the line? I'm a child.
So he's going to teach this brash, arrogant football player about a lever and leverage. So I get there in the morning, I'm scared. So I have this first thing up is this stunt thing where I'm nose to nose with MacGyver, and there's theoretically a ball snap, and I go to he flips me over, and thus demonstrates leverage. So I do it with his stunt double until Rick gets there. And so back in those days when you would go on a set, especially if you were like Richard Anderson or Johnny Depp or whoever, the first day AD would introduce them in the morning. Richard Dean Anderson is now on set. Good morning. Everyone says good morning. Da 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 da. So I'm terrified. Now he comes in. He goes and talks to his stunt double. Stunt double explains it. Stunt double explains to him where he's got to hit me to flip me over. Da da da. I still haven't said boo to him. So I'm literally trembling. And we go to shoot it. Still haven't said good morning to him. Still haven't. So I take my stance, and Rick is probably in some stage of hangoverness. Has his head down. They call action, and he looks up and looks at me, and here's what I get. And that was the basis of our relationship for 17 years. In Atlanta, we literally were on stage for 17 minutes talking about, do you remember when you farted when we were in the spacesuits? Yes, that still defines our relationship.
I love that the next fart I smell, I'm gonna think, gotta watch Stargate.